In this video, what we're going to do is take a quick look at how to set up our PowerPoint presentation to be able to be a template or a format where we can create our storyboard based off of our script. The format of a basic movie script, and the format looks something like this. There's a video I did called Format Word 2016 for script writing if you want to look at that. But basically what we learned to do in this is how to format a script, format Word so that it uses scripts, and we use styles for that. But as you see here, we have the heading here, the scene heading, and here we have a scene heading, and then we have a description of the scene. We have a character, the name, and we have an action for the character, and then we have the dialogue for the character. But obviously this is not all there is to a script. There's a lot more, but basically we want to keep it as simple as possible. So we're going to sort of copy that format, and we're going to just use something like this as far as our template. We're going to have a scene heading, and then we'll have the picture, and then we'll have a description down there. So basically we want to be able to open up our PowerPoint to be able to emulate what a script would look like. Alright, so when you first open up PowerPoint, you will have this template here. Now, if you haven't used PowerPoint before, it is a presentation software. So it's designed to present it on, let's say, like an overhead projector or something like that. Is also designed to where you can send it out as HTML, like for websites. You can actually play it directly into a web browser. So a lot of places you can use this format, including Google has its own sort of presentation application inside of Google Docs. So I don't know if you haven't seen that. It's called Slides, I believe, and you can pretty much do almost exactly the same thing as you can in PowerPoint, Microsoft PowerPoint. Not everything, so you can't, there's no VB code or nothing like that, but you can do a lot of things in Slides. And that's web-based, so you don't have to worry about having the system on your computer. You can pretty much just use it online. But for this one, we're going to be using PowerPoint. So when I first open this up, I want to be able to create that template. So I am going to use mostly shortcut keys to be able to accomplish what I want to accomplish. I could delete all of this, right? So if I just drag and select all of that, you'll notice that they're all selected because you can see the edges turn into those little dots. But I'd rather not drag and select. I'd rather just select the slide and hit Control A to select both of the items there, and then I can hit delete to delete all of that. Now I have a clean slide, clean presentation, and if I would hit F5 and try to run that, it'll be all blank. So it'll be just white, just like what you see here. Over here to the left, you'll see that I have all the slides that I currently am using right now. If I were to hit Control D, it'll copy that. As you can see, I have two versions. Now, the thing about this is that whatever is in orange is what you see here. So if I were to click this one is currently in view, not this one. Even though you can't tell the difference here because they're both white. But if I were to select this and add a shape, you'll see now that that shape pops up here, but this one is selected, so you don't see the shape here. So that's one thing you might want to keep in mind while moving forward. So now to go ahead and create my template. And as you can see, my template is like 6 cells. And so I'm going to need a title, the cell, and a description. So I know I'm going to need 3 items, and the best way to go about this is insert those 3 items immediately. First of all, I am going to insert the picture, and I'm using shapes to be able to map this out for me. And the thing about shapes is that immediately when you select the shape, you'll get this special menu up here. If I were to select off the shape, you notice it's not selected, so there's no menu up here. But if I were to select that shape, you'll see I get this Format Drawing Tools menu here. And I can then go ahead and change the styles to that shape. Even I can change the shape itself, So I just want something fairly simple. that I wouldn't, and this is where my image is going to go. Now, I'm going to need my dialogue up here. So I don't really want a shape for that. I want a text box. So I'm going to go to Insert, and then I'm going to go to Text Box here. And then when you select it, you go down, and you notice how it looks like a cursor. So if I were to just click anywhere right there, then my text box pops up. But if I was to deselect this, you'll notice there's no text box there. Because when you do it that way and you don't put a text box there, it'll just delete it because it figured you didn't want a text box there. But if I were to do this, I'm just going to type, so it's going to be my scene heading. And then I deselect, you'll notice it does not disappear. So I have my scene heading, and I could just put something here so that I know that this is just a template version of what will be here. Okay, so I can even do something like this. So that's ext. External or internal, right? So I'm just going to put the format here. External or internal, location, time. There we go. Okay, so that looks good right there. Now what I'm going to do is, let me just do something like this. What I'm going to do now is, to save me some time, I'm going to duplicate this description tag up here by hitting Control D, drag this down here, and I'm going to change the size to this. And then in here I'm just going to type in, oops. Okay, so the description goes here. So now I have my format. The only thing I do want, though, is I want this to be surrounded by, I want there to be a border around this. Right now there's no border around it. So I can select this, and then I can go to the styles and add a border. So I'm going to select it, and I can go here to format here, and I can go to these styles, and I'm just going to select the standard border. I can select it to be the same color as that if I want to, as the image that's going to be my image. And so now I have my standard format that I'm going to use. Now, in order to duplicate this, what I'm going to do, since I only have one thing on the screen, I'm going to hit Control A to copy everything. And I actually want this right here to be even with this over here. So I'm going to deselect everything by clicking anywhere on the side. I'm going to select this text, hold down Shift, and then select the image, hold down Shift, and then select the final one. And I'm going to arrange that to the left. So I'm going to select Arrange, go to Align, and Align Left. And as you can see, they all align to the left. But I also can do something else when I go to Align. If I look at Align, I can see that it distributes things to the left and the right. So I really want to pay attention to this when I actually start duplicating this. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to just highlight all of these, or I could have just hit Control A. It'll select everything on the screen, and only because I have this on the screen by itself, that's not a real big issue. If I had a lot of other things on the screen that I didn't want selected, then that might be an issue. So now that I have everything selected, I'm going to hit Control G, and that stands for grouping. Now all of this acts as one item, as you can see there. But that doesn't mean I can't get into the item. It just means it acts as one item. If I want to get into the item, I'll go in there and select it twice, the one item that I want, as you can see there. If I do that twice, you see it moves it. Now they all still act as a group, but I was able to move that one item. I'm hitting Control Z to get back to this point. The reason why I did this is so that I can duplicate this across. Okay, so there's a couple of ways I can duplicate this. I can duplicate this by hitting Control D, and then hitting Control A to select all of those. So I hit Control D twice with the first one selected. Then I hit Control A to select all of them. Now I'm going to arrange them. I'm going to align them to the left. I'm I'm going to go to arrange again, and then I'm going to align them to the top. Now you can see they're all balanced out, right? What I want to do is select one, move it over, select the other, and move it over. Now I can select all of them, go to arrange, align horizontally, and you'll see they'll balance out horizontally. And then I can go align to the top, so they're aligned that way, and then I could just drag them over. And then I can hit Control D to duplicate these, or you can hold down Control. So you can have these all selected still, and then hold down Control and then drag these down. Now you notice when I drag these down, I can move them anywhere. I want them to stay in line like this. So if I want that to happen and only be able to drag them in one direction, I hold down the Control key, then hold down the Shift key, and now they'll drag in one direction, as you can see there. Now my template is coming along. So the next thing I want to be able to do is, you notice I have this blank slide over here. I want to delete that slide. So I'm going to select that slide and hit the delete key on the keyboard. Therefore, I only have one slide there. So now I am now going to show you how to add an image to this shape here. So I'm going to select my group and then select it again with the shape and with the mouse over the shape. And then I'm going to right click on that shape and I'm going to go to fill, and I'm going to go to picture. And then I'm going to decide which picture I want. I'm going to do it from a file, and then I'm going to try to find my download file, and I'm going to use this picture here, and there it is. Now I have the look of the storyboard that I want. And the cool part about this is that I can just duplicate this cell over here by selecting it, this slide, by selecting it and hitting Control D, and now I have a really good template. I have a really good template for all of my storyboards. Now, I know you're tempted to complete this, but the best thing to do here is to save this as a template and never really use this one. Only open it, and then you want to save it as storyboard template. And my storyboard template will never be used, right? So whenever I want to create a storyboard, I would just go ahead and, let me open this up. Whenever I want to create a storyboard, I'll just open up my storyboard template. Here's my storyboard template. And then I would quickly, without doing anything to it, I would save it as the name of my project. So I'm going to save it as my movie 2, whatever project that I have. And when I have my other project, I'll open up my storyboard template and save it as something else. So that's one way, probably the best way to go about using PowerPoint to create your storyboards and to break down your script. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments below.